First question for you. If you could tell us a little bit about this Chase U next week at Charlotte, how the idea came about, and why you chose Charlotte for your first event.
Yeah, so it was just an idea that some of the folks internally on our team came up with, and for me, once they kind of told me more about it, and I was on board with it and thought it would be something neat to do and try to get engaged with, and might be a good opportunity to allow some college students a cheap opportunity or a cheap way to go and have a good time. I think for me is the bottom line. For them, you want to just try to provide them a good chance and a good place to go and have fun. I'm excited. It being at Charlotte next weekend, they jumped on board. They've been doing a great job promoting it and getting the word out. We're going to try it at Charlotte and then at Talladega. Hopefully this will go well. I'm excited to have the opportunity to put something like this on at the racetrack, and I hope that you hope that folks will come out and get engaged with it, have a good time, and like I said, if it grows, we can build it into something bigger. We just want to make it to where folks can go and have a good time and not cost a whole lot, and hopefully this will give them the opportunity to do that.
All right, very cool. Next question. Obviously, Chase U isn't your main focus next weekend. Hoping that you advance on in the Chase after Dover this weekend. You're going to be heading to a 1.5 miles at Charlotte, and after your run at Chicago, how do you look at Charlotte next weekend and your opportunity to get your first win at the big home race for NASCAR?
Yeah, well, I hope we can do that before we get to Charlotte. Obviously, we got to make it through Dover first before we get there. But I'm excited about Charlotte. For a lot of the team guys and for Hendrick Motorsports and a lot of the folks that work at the shop and amongst NASCAR or in the racing scene in general, most everybody up around that region lives pretty close. That's a home race for a lot of people, and I think it means a lot to team guys to have folks at the race that may not necessarily get to go to a lot of races as often or at all. That might be the one race a year that you do have some crew members' families around the racetrack. So I think it is an important race. They're all important races, but most important things get through Dover this weekend, and then obviously getting on to Charlotte. But I'm excited about it. Charlotte's a neat place. I enjoy night racing, so I think it'd be cool to have that race under the lights, and hopefully put on a good show for the fans.
All right, we appreciate it. We wish you the best luck with that. Now the next question I have is something that I, as a 21-year-old, I know a lot of other college students kind of talk about. I mean, whether they're racing fans or not, just thinking that kind of the biggest thing on our radar. I mean, around the time of the championship race in Homestead, or really any weekend, is the next big testing class, or if athletes have a big game coming up. But here you are at 20 years old. Can you talk about the pressure of putting on that helmet every weekend and not just going for a win, but now going for your first championship?
The age side of it is not really it's not necessarily something you dwell on. For me, I kind of look at it as, hey, you got a job to do. You've been this is your first year in Cup, but it's not your first year racing anything at all. So I think sometimes you have to kind of take a step back, look at the bigger picture, so to speak, kind of from a general perspective, and recognize that hey, we're still turning left, we're still trying to go fast, you're still racing cars. Granted, it's your first year in a Cup car or racing against different guys, new guys you haven't raced against a lot over the years. You have to kind of look at it from a perspective that, hey, it's all, I guess it's all relative for the most part. And yes, some things are different here or there, but sometimes you just got to look at it from a general perspective and recognize that you've been doing some type of racing for many years now, and take some of those tools and lessons you've learned over the years and try to apply them here. I don't think those lessons go away. I think some of that stuff that you learn over the years applies, and a lot of it sometimes is even more similar than you might think. So I think that's a big thing for me, and just trying to get to do your part.
Well, along those lines, what would you say is the biggest step up this year in the Sprint Cup Series as compared to your previous years when you won the last nationwide championship in Xfinity last year? What's the biggest difference?
The length of the races definitely are a little longer. I look at that from the competition side. Really, the bigger difference has been the demand and the schedule away from racing, and how to balance that to where you are given what you need to give on that side, what you need to give on the competition side. So I think the biggest thing for me at least, the schedule demand definitely ramps up. The competition side is different. There's a larger group of cars that can compete each weekend, and there's obviously a lot of talented crew members and racers that are going to be tough to beat each week. And I think there's a larger, that group is larger to me on the Cup side than what it is over in years past, or in the Xfinity side. It seems like that competition level is ramped up, and that number of cars that can go compete for a win is higher. So it makes it tougher, but I feel like it makes it for a smaller margin of error, and I think all that at the end of the day plays a part. Definitely have to dig in and find a little more these next handful of weeks, and that starts here at Dover.
All right, Chase, one last question for you. Besides your dad, who did you look up to in the NASCAR garage as a youngster?
I've looked up to a handful of guys over the years, but the first one I was ever really okay with pulling for other than my dad was Tony Stewart. He was always one I looked up to for many years, and had a lot of respect for what he did and how he went about his racing and the way he treated people at the racetrack. Everybody seems to have respect for him, and I certainly did growing up.